Should you hire an expert to help fix your Google Ads suspension? Well, here at StubGroup, I oversee a team of experts who do exactly this, and we've been doing this for over a decade. So I'm going to share my perspective from my experience about how you should think through answering this question. So first of all, you might ask, well, why do I need help from a third party? Like I'm working with Google, I have an ad account, I'm just trying to pay them money. If they tell me there's a problem, they'll work with me, right? They'll help me fix the problem and help me get my ads back with Google because they want to make money. You would think that that might be how they would approach things, but unfortunately that's not usually how it goes, because Google has a very complex set of systems that they've created. They heavily rely upon automation and AI. And once they flag your account, they're basically like, all right, well, you're done, moving on. And they're pretty much monopoly. So everyone's coming to them to run ads. So it's not like they have to fight for your business per se. Someone else is going to come along and pay them instead. And so you have to fight for yourself, and you have to do so with very little information, because when Google suspends you, generally speaking, they give you very broad reasons for that suspension. And they don't tell you exactly what the problem is and exactly what you need to do to fix the problem. And you can ask them until you're blue in the face, but they really won't give you details or information. They'll give you boilerplate responses that essentially put you on your own to figure out what's going on. And so you can do that on your own. You can appeal suspension. You can work through that process with Google. And it is possible, certainly, to get accounts reinstated. But many advertisers find when they start going down that road that it's incredibly more complicated, hard, taking longer, requiring more investment of time and energy than they expected. And so that's when a lot of people start to think about, are there experts who can help me fix this? And both save me time, save me frustration, and get my ads back online with Google. And the short answer is there are people like us here at StubGroup who have spent a ton of time working with Google policies. In our case, we've worked with thousands and thousands of advertisers, fixing suspensions, helping people comply with Google's policies. And so we've built up a wealth of knowledge and information about how Google's system works, how their policies are enforced, and how to increase the likelihood of being able to comply with their policies and then get back online with Google. So let's talk through a couple of things of what an expert can do in this space, and also what they can't do, because both sides of that coin are very important. So some things that experts can do. The biggest thing I would say, honestly, is pattern recognition. In our case, we have worked with so many suspensions and fixed so many suspensions that when a new one comes in, we can often say, oh, you know what, that nuance of that situation is similar to this one over here, or we've dealt with this over here, and it gives us a leg up for how to address the situation. That doesn't mean, and I'll get into this more later in the video, it doesn't mean that we can immediately fix the problem, because there's still a lot of both art and science that goes into it, but it means that there's a great chance that we've already fixed this type of problem for many other advertisers in the past, and we can apply those learnings to this new situation. Another thing that experts will often do is they'll look at the totality of your website, your ad account, and your online footprint and identify problems that might prevent Google from accepting your appeal, even if those problems aren't necessarily related to why Google suspended you to begin with. Because often what we'll see is Google might suspend you for one violation or perceived violation, but there might be other things on your website that are missing that are necessary to prove your legitimacy to Google or to comply with their policies or whatever the case may be, so that when they go and review your appeal of the suspension, they see these other issues and they still keep you suspended because of these other issues. So we're talking about, comprehensive audits of websites that we'll do, and looking for issues again in ad accounts and, online reputation, reviews, things like that, to try and fix everything that could potentially prevent Google from flipping that switch to get your ad account back on their platform. Another thing that an expert brings to the table is the understanding of how to craft appeals and what to put in those appeals that will, again, increase the likelihood of Google accepting. And we actually created a separate video that you could go watch on our channel about how to craft a Google Ads appeal, in which we give some ideas here. But basically, you want to be very thorough, you want to be explicit, you want to provide documentation, you want to identify all the things you've changed, so forth and so on, in order to increase the likelihood of Google actually accepting your appeal. And often a first appeal, even submitted by an expert, is not accepted, and there may be pushback involved, and there's a lot of strategy that goes into exactly how you do that pushback, what means of communication you use with Google, and various things along those lines to, again, increase the likelihood of getting unsuspended. And then at times, if you're working with someone like a premier Google partner, like StubGroup, they may have access to escalation paths internally to try and push when you're hitting a brick wall with Google's automated systems. Now, I'm always very careful when I talk about this because there are limitations to what Google is allowed to do internally, and it's not like there's always a magic button that you can just click to bring an account back online. But at times, depending upon the situation, there are escalation paths that can be very helpful in reinstating an account. So those are some of the things that an expert can bring to the table. Next question is, who should I work with? Well, obviously I'm biased. I think you should work with StubGroup. But when you look at the options out there, people who say that they are familiar with fixing Google suspensions, the biggest thing I would look at is their reputation, is their reviews, is what are people saying about them. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to say that you do something, but the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And so that's why we're so proud of the number of reviews that we have online from real businesses that we've worked with, helped with, gotten unsuspended, and have the proof to back up our statements. And the last question a lot of people will ask is, does it cost money to hire an expert? And yes, it does cost money to hire an expert. And I totally understand the frustration of, hey, I want to pay Google money. Now, why do I have to pay someone else money to help me get back to a place where I can pay Google money? I get it. And in a perfect world, you don't get suspended and you don't have to worry about it. But at the end of the day, we invest so much time, so much resources. Again, we've been doing this for over a decade. We have an entire team that focuses exclusively on fixing suspensions and helping advertisers with policy issues. And that's expensive for us to build up that knowledge, that team, and the just sheer amount of time that we have to invest into fixing each and every suspension. And so, yes, it costs money, but obviously that is an investment into getting back the ability to advertise on Google and sell your product, sell your service, and make money through what is the most important advertising platform in the world, in my opinion. So hopefully those things are helpful if you are in a situation where you're deciding whether to hire an expert to help fix your suspension. And if you're interested in learning more, please reach out through StubGroup.com and we'd be happy to talk.